What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we have a ranked video. We will be ranking the entire Raw and SmackDown roster. NXT will not be included in this video unless you do want to see that. So basically, this is not a tier list. This is just me saying who I think is the worst to the best wrestler in the WWE on the main roster. Please make sure to leave a like if you do enjoy. Let's try to reach 5,000 likes since it does help a lot. Anyways, let's get right into the video. I have never heard of this man, and therefore he is on the bottom of this ranking list. I do think he's from Raw Underground, but like I said, I don't really watch Raw every single week, so I definitely missed out on this guy. So Aruto Ruas, whatever your name is, you are last. The next one is another individual that showed up to Raw Underground that was from NXT, and his name is Daba Kato. I believe that's how you say it, but the same thing with the last guy. I didn't really watch him too much. I don't watch Raw on a weekly basis because it's way too long. So Daba Kato, you are number 2 on this ranking list, which is not good because we're going from the worst to the best. Humberto is another wrestler who I never really bought into as a person. Like, yes, he's a pretty decent athletic wrestler, but his gimmick is not there. I do remember Paul Heyman was a big fan of Humberto for some reason, but there's no way that I was ever going to be a huge fan of Humberto just because he lacks that charisma. Unlike Angel Garza or Andrade, he just doesn't have that look of a wrestler, at least in my opinion. There is a reason that the Forgotten Sons are named the Forgotten Sons. All 3 of these guys are just forgettable people who you don't really need on the roster. They haven't been on TV in months because of Jackson Riker's comments about the BLM movement, and that's also not a good look, so that definitely makes them even worse off. I did hear that they will be returning soon without him, but still, I don't think I'm ever going to buy into their gimmick or whatever their character is. The fact that they're forgotten, like, what is that? Just stay forgotten. Lana is not super talented in the ring, and she's also not that great on the microphone. She's kind of one of those people that are just like, whatever, like, you're on the roster, cool. I'm not gonna really buy a show or watch a show for you, and that's what she basically is. I thought it was the best when she was with Rusev, but ever since that storyline with Bobby Lashley, her stock has dropped. In fact, I actually liked the storyline with her and Bobby Lashley and thought that was pretty cool, but like I said, she completely dropped in the rankings because once she left Bobby, she had no direction. Bo Dallas is Bo Dallas. I don't know what else to say about this man. Like, he was cool back when he had the Bo leave, but that was 2013. It's 2020. All I know Bo Dallas is as the brother of the Fiend Bray Wyatt, and that's about it. If maybe Bo Dallas could get with the Fiend and become his little partner or whatever you want to call it, then there's potential. But for right now, Bo Dallas, no, you're on the bottoms of these rankings. Next up is Retribution, and there's not really much I could say about Retribution. They're just not good. The way they were booked completely ruined them. Mercedes Martinez is smart. She got out of there before it was too late. It sucks seeing 5 or 4 talented people, however big the group is, in such a bad faction. I just hope it ends as soon as possible. AKIRA TOZAWA is whatever to me. The ninja thing was like the best thing he had going, and I'm pretty sure that's over now. So AKIRA, it's done for you, man. There's really not much to say. Dana Brooke is another person that I really just don't care for. I don't have much to say about her, so we're just gonna move on to the next one. Tamina only has one thing, and that's the fact that her father is Jimmy Snuka. I don't think WWE has ever done anything to ever try to push her besides bring up the fact that her father used to jump off the top rope. For that reason, I've never been a fan of her, and I don't think I ever will be. Nia Jax had to be low on this list. You all had to see it coming. I am not a fan of Nia Jax. She injures way too many people, and I hate the fact that she's paired up with Shayna Baszler because Shayna Baszler is way better than her and deserves a singles run. I don't know. Nia Jax should just go back to the PC, be a better wrestler, stop hurting people. Enough said. Billie Kay was decent when she was with Peyton Royce, but ever since the two split up, I don't think I've cared about it at all. Like, people are making a big deal about it all over social media, all over the internet, all over YouTube, but let's be real, Billie Kay isn't that good. And you know what, you could say the same thing for the next person, who is Peyton Royce, because like I said, her and Billie Kay were much better together. They should have never been split up. If anything, give them the tag team championships and let them hold it for a while, because I don't understand the purpose of splitting these two up if they have no direction, if they have no future, if they're really directionless. Tucker just turned heel the other week when he turned on Otis, which was cool, but for now, I'm not a huge fan of Tucker. I don't think he's that special. I do think this heel turn might be good for him, so we will have to wait and see. He might move up the rankings, in my opinion. MOJO Rawley has never been anything to me, really. I feel like I'm just roasting everyone at this point, but MOJO Rawley is a pretty decent wrestler, but he was never given that time to really shine. I think once he does get an opportunity, he might do well because he does have somewhat of charisma, but for now, he doesn't. The one gimmick that I did like was when he was like looking in the mirror and his face was shattered. The face paint was ridiculous, but the story and the character was actually interesting. Lucha House Party is good for a match or two, but that's about it. I don't see Lucha House Party ever becoming tag team champions, and if they are, good for them, but I don't know, man. I just don't care. Drew Gulak was cool when he was with Daniel Bryan, but that was the only cool thing about him. Ever since splitting up with Daniel Bryan and going into the 24/7 title picture, Drew Gulak has been treated as a joke. I think he should have never re-signed with the company. When he had the opportunity to leave, he should have left. However, he is making that money, so you know what? You can't disrespect him. You gotta respect the fact that he's bringing in that dough. Lacey Evans was cool when she was in NXT, but that was the only time that I really was invested in her character. She was more of the military woman. That's the vibe that I got from her. But ever since joining SmackDown, she kind of just became like this ladies lady. I don't know her nickname, honestly. We haven't seen her in so long. I don't even know what brand she's on at this point. Mandy Rose is somebody that WWE pushes, and I really don't know why, because Mandy Rose, I understand that she's decent in the ring, but sometimes she could have terrible matches, and also you can't really buy into her acting. When she's cutting a promo, it just sounds fake. So that's why Mandy Rose is not one of my favorites. I might get heat for putting DOMINIK Mysterio this low on the list. However, I don't think he's good in the ring. I think he has the fundamentals of being a wrestler, but he's just too young. He doesn't have the look of a wrestler. He doesn't have the proper mannerisms. Putting him on the main roster, on Raw and SmackDown this early in his career is only bad for him. If you wait another 5 to 6 years, whether that be NXT or the independent scene, I do think he would get a lot better. I do think he would be a lot more ready. So for now, though, he will be in the middle of this list, on the bottom end of it. I don't know where I am at this point. When I was making my video about the moment that WWE ruined Ricochet, somebody who I did not know was Riddick Moss that beat him, and at the time I didn't know him, and therefore I was roasting him. But now I did watch some of his promos on YouTube because of that video, and honestly, Riddick Moss is pretty good. I think he came from the NFL, so that's why he has the big body, but he's also pretty charismatic. He can cut a promo, so I do see a future for him. However, I don't know where he's been in the last few months. He could be on TV for all I know. I think Lars Sullivan has the body. However, he will never be viewed as a superstar in my opinion because of the entire scandal he had going on with him and those videos, as well as that girl that he wanted her to send him nudes. There's just so much history with this man. It's over. His wrestling career is pretty much done at this point. You know what? Your past will come back to haunt you. So make sure whatever you guys do in the future, make sure you understand that it might come back and bite you in the ass. Nikki Cross is okay. That's the only way I can describe her in my opinion. I think Nikki Cross at NXT was a lot better, but WWE Nikki Cross isn't that entertaining. Pairing her with Alexa Bliss was okay, but I don't know. There wasn't really much to it. Mickie James is only pretty high on this list because of how I perceived her when I was younger. Her entire feud with Trish Stratus was cool, and I know she hasn't done anything meaningful in 2020 or 2019, but it is what it is, you know? She has a special place in my heart, and that's why she's on this list, in the middle of it. Liv Morgan is a superstar everybody wants to be pushed, or at least the IWC wants her to be pushed because they see potential in her. She tries really hard online to use her social media presence, and I don't know, I like her for whatever reason. I think she's cool, so there's not much to say. I don't think she's great. I don't think she's bad. Maybe if she's given more opportunities, she might be even better. NATALYA is Bret Hart's niece, and for that reason, she's cool. I like her. She has a sharpshooter. She has Bret Hart's music pretty much, or it might be a little different. She's cool. ZELINA VEGA is pretty good. I don't think she's great. Oh my god, so many people on this list are just whatever. I'm just gonna move on to the next one. ZELINA VEGA's here. I think Naomi has a lot of potential, but I do think she needs to turn heel, and she needs to align herself with the bloodline. That is the best way to make her seem like a big deal. The entire Feel the Glow thing needs to go. That is hurting her character, and it needs to end. I always thought Ruby Riott was a pretty decent wrestler, and also she has that wrestling look. She puts on good matches. She's pretty good. I don't know what else to say about this one. Before joining the main roster, I thought Ricochet was a bona fide star, and then once he joined, I realized that he's not that great compared to the other wrestlers. Like, yeah, doing the flips is cool and all, but I don't think Ricochet has the charisma to blow up and become a top champion. I'm sorry, it sucks to say it, but Ricochet will forever be a mid-card wrestler. Riddle just lost his first name, so now he's no longer Matt Riddle, and that's all you need to know about how his run is going on the main roster. The Viking Raiders lost all their credibility once they turned into the Viking Experience, then the Viking something else, and then the Viking this, and then the Viking that, and all I have to say about this is that they've been terribly booked on the main roster, and I think that the moment they played basketball against the Street Profits is the moment that I never viewed them as a top tag team anymore. If you asked me to make this video years ago, Bobby Roode would have been high on the list. However, things have changed drastically for the worse, and Robert Roode is not that great anymore. The only thing he's doing now is being a part of a tag team with Dolph Ziggler, and that's not even going anywhere. It sucks to say it because I think he's got at least somewhat talent, but he'll never be able to use it in the WWE. Dolph Ziggler was cool in 2012. That's when I liked Dolph Ziggler, but ever since then, this man's been using the same gimmick, doing the exact same thing, complaining the same way on the microphone. Dolph, you gotta give it up. You gotta retire from the WWE, I think. You're decent, you can still put on a good match, but that's about it. Otis is surprisingly high on my list because I think he's pretty good. He has that charisma. He can get you invested in a storyline, whether that's with Mandy Rose or even this new Tucker thing. So you know what, Otis? Otis is pretty good in my opinion. Baron Corbin is somebody who ideally WWE wants to push, who's got all the right tools, but for some reason it just doesn't work out on TV. Like, I think the whole Lone Wolf thing was pretty cool in 2016. He actually was about to be a WWE champion in 2017, but then he unsuccessfully cashed in his Money in the Bank and everything went downhill after that. I do think he recovered well when he was the Constable Baron Corbin, but ever since becoming the King Corbin, I think that negatively affected him. Elias just sings and that's about it. Elias is cool when he sings, but I don't think he's ever going to be anything bigger than that, and that's not a problem. It's okay to just be one act like that. You know, so many people have done it. So many people have had, like Goldust, for instance. Goldust was never a top superstar, but he's always been there. He's always been around, and I don't know. I like Elias for some reason. Apollo Crews is cool. Not much I can say about this one. Alexa Bliss has had a terrible 2019 and a bad 2020, but once she aligned with The Fiend, I think she's back on top of her game, and I see a great future for her, so she's definitely one of my favorite women right now in the WWE. Jinder Mahal was underrated. In 2017, if you watched my videos, I hated everything about him. I hated his WWE title reign, but honestly, looking back at it, I think Jinder was a good champion, and I think he can be a good mid-card champion in 2020 once he does return from his injury. Do not hinder the Jinder. Jeff Hardy will always be a veteran. He's definitely one of my favorites from when I was a child, but I do think he's gotten a little too old, and it might be time for him to retire from wrestling. You know, Jeff Hardy can still put on a good match, but like, what's the point? It's kind of like he's whatever. He's just doing whatever to collect a check. That's what I feel. It would have been interesting to see him go to AEW with his brother, though. I do think that. Shinsuke Nakamura is exactly where he needs to be on this list. He's whatever. He just like Jeff Hardy, just like Jinder Mahal. Shinsuke Nakamura is an average wrestler. I think he had the hype back in 2016, but ever since then, I don't view him as a special superstar. I think he's all right. That's it. There's nothing else to say. Andrade is somebody that I wanted to be a WWE champion for so long now, but I think I'm coming to realization that it's never going to happen. Vince McMahon is not a fan of him. The only way it can happen is if we get the Charlotte and Andrade storyline that I've wanted for so long, but even then, I don't think WWE will ever pull the trigger. Andrade will forever be a good wrestler who can never get behind the crowd, and that's the sad truth. Aleister Black has had a rough career on the main roster, and honestly, this heel turn might be good for him, but right now, he's just doing nothing. He'll still be one of my favorites because I like his moveset. I think he has good matches. I think he has that character that he can work on, but besides that, I don't know. He's average. I don't know how else to say it. Buddy Murphy is somebody who benefited so much ever since his pairing with Seth Rollins. I like actually everything he's been doing lately. The entire thing with Aaliyah Mysterio is hilarious. I don't think I'm supposed to laugh at it, but it's funny nonetheless. There was a video of Angel Garza running away and leaving his wife with Retribution, which I thought was hilarious, and for that reason, he will forever be one of my favorite wrestlers, and I do think he could one day become a champion. Maybe not a WWE champion, but definitely a US champ. I like Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is a pretty good face. You know, he was a good heel when he had Chris Jericho, but sadly he hasn't been doing much. Hopefully that changes in the future. We will see. I included Samoa Joe on this list because I'm assuming he's going to come back from his injury. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but let's just assume that this is Samoa Joe from his injury coming back. He is a savage on the microphone. He is a good wrestler. He's actually one of my favorites. He's just a little old now and he is getting injured here and there. So I just wish that he can avoid those injuries and one day become a US champion again, maybe an IC champion, because Samoa Joe is entertaining. Shayna Baszler is so good, and the fact that she's paired with Nia Jax with the women's championships, the women tag team championships, is mind-boggling. Shayna Baszler needs a singles run, and that is just a fact. She is so good. She makes everything look believable. She is the definition of a good, serious wrestler. The Street Profits are one of Vince McMahon's favorite groups, and there's a good reason. It's because they're good in the ring and they're charismatic, and that's it. If you got those two things, you are great. And I love Montez Ford because this man will take any single bump and jump in the air. He'll be 30 feet in the air. He'll pause there and then just come crashing down. It's a sight to see. I've always been a fan of The Miz, and I think his pairing with John Morrison is pretty good. I like these two together, and I can't wait to see The Miz become the champion once he does cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase. I do have a feeling, though, he might fail and not do it successfully, and that would suck, but let's hope it doesn't, because I think him and John Morrison are entertaining. Let's pretend the entire Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins feud never happened, and that's it. I like Rey Mysterio. I liked him in 2019 when he was wrestling Andrade, Samoa Joe, Jeff Hardy, Daniel Bryan. I don't know what they're doing with him now. I think he's focusing on helping his son get a big push on the main roster, but like I said, Dominik's not ready. I would much rather prefer seeing Rey Mysterio in matches than Dominik. AJ Styles is somebody who dropped in my rankings ever since 2017. I don't know what it is. His wrestling has just gotten a little bit slower. I think it's time for him also to maybe retire or become a part-timer. AJ Styles, it just seems like he's going through the motions. However, I'm still going to have a spot in my heart for AJ Styles because you know what? He's AJ Styles. Sami Zayn as the IC champion has been super entertaining to watch, and I did not expect that to happen, to be honest. A lot of you guys have asked me to make a video about the moment that WWE saved him. It's just his heel turn. Sami Zayn is a cool guy, and that's it. Braun Strowman is a really good wrestler who's got the look. I don't know about you guys, but I think Braun Strowman is kind of underrated from some people in the IWC. They talk a lot of crap about him, but he's pretty good. I like him. You already knew Cesaro was going to be high on my list because Cesaro does the uppercuts. That's all I need to bring up, the uppercuts. Yes, do I wish he was a WWE champion? Of course. Will it happen? Probably not, but still, he's going to be my favorites. And you know what? I'm still going to hope one day. I know it's impossible. I know it's never going to happen, but I'm going to have that hope for Cesaro to be a WWE champion. R-Truth has been one of the greatest wrestlers for the WWE over the last 10 years. There's not much else to say about it. This man is a living legend, and I love him. Bianca Belair is going to be the next big women's wrestler, and I bank on it. I swear, if she's not a top champion within the next few years, I don't know what's wrong with Vince McMahon. This girl is literally super talented in the ring. She is a freak of nature, can do things that nobody can do. I love Bianca Belair, and I think she's got a great future ahead of herself. I'm going to include Big E, Xavier Woods, and Kofi Kingston as a collective group. So the New Day is one of my favorite groups. I'm trying to make the brilliance of the New Day, but you guys aren't voting on it because I have a lot to say about this group. They are all individually great, but together they are special. Charlotte has not been on TV in a long time, but she's still one of the best women's wrestlers the WWE has. She makes wrestling look easy just like her father. It is a gift that was given to her through her DNA. The Usos have always been one of my favorite tag teams, but ever since Jey Uso turned heel and aligned with Roman Reigns, I think I've liked the Usos even more, and I can't wait till Jimmy comes back. I do want to see a singles match between Jimmy and Jey, and that's when Jimmy joins Jey and Roman Reigns. That would be super cool in my opinion. Daniel Bryan is somebody who right now he's not a part-timer. He's been off TV for a while, but he will always be one of my favorite wrestlers because of that entire storyline in 2014. He's good in the ring, he's good on the mic, and he can work as either a heel and a face. He's one of the best talents that WWE signed in the last decade. Sheamus is great. I never understood why Sheamus was being pushed when I was younger, but now as I'm older, I see why. He's got it all from the in-ring work to the promo work to just making everything seem believable. I like Sheamus, and honestly, I could see a Universal or WWE title reign because the guy's got a great body. He's got it all. He's a former champion. Make him champion one more time, maybe. Becky Lynch has been off TV for a while now, but she will always be one of my favorite wrestlers because 2018 Becky Lynch was on fire and she had a dominant 2019. It does suck that she had to leave, but you know what? She's having a kid, so it's understandable. I'm just waiting for her return, and I might make a I Miss Becky Lynch video soon. Bayley has done some great work in 2020 with Sasha Banks. She really shined as a heel, and I honestly think that she's one of the best women's wrestlers in the entire world, the planet, should I say. Asuka's Asuka. Come on. I made a video called The Brilliance of Asuka because this woman knows wrestling. She understands everything about it. Sasha Banks will forever be my favorite women's wrestler because you know what? She's great. I know a lot of people don't like her. A lot of people say she botches, but I don't care. I like Sasha Banks. Drew McIntyre proved to the world that you could be a good face in the WWE, and for that reason, he's definitely one of my favorites. I knew he was always good ever since he made his return in 2016, and it's great to see that he finally had that run as a top guy. It does suck that it happened without a crowd, but I'm sure he'll have many more years in the future. Seth Rollins is undeniably one of the best wrestlers in the WWE, and the entire Friday Night Messiah thing has only really made him good again. I do think that this entire Rey Mysterio thing needs to end, but still, Seth Rollins, he's a good wrestler. He's definitely one of the best. I know Brock Lesnar is not signed with the WWE, but still, I'm going to include him on this list because he was on the official roster page and WWE is going to sign him eventually. Brock Lesnar is super talented and he reaches the top 5. The Hurt Business is one of the best things to happen to the WWE. That shows you how you could take 4 people who are doing absolutely nothing and make them all feel important and relevant again. The Hurt Business needs to dominate Raw. The Fiend is one of the best things to happen to the WWE in the last year. There's really not much to say about it. I love The Fiend. I think every storyline has been spot on. The only thing I don't like, we already know, it was the entire Goldberg thing, but let's just forget about that moment. Randy Orton is a legend. Everything he does is good. I made a video about how he's the perfect wrestler. Of course, he's going to be in the top 2 when making this video. The best wrestler in the WWE, and I would say the best wrestler in the world, is Roman Reigns. The Universal Champion has been doing the best work in his entire career, and I need to make an entire video of why he's so good now. But honestly, Roman Reigns feels like the most important wrestler. He's the closest thing to a John Cena, to a Stone Cold, to a Rock, in my opinion. I can put him with any wrestler, and the match feels important. I love everything he's been doing. And the last one is Aaliyah Mysterio. She is the GOAT of all professional wrestling. And that is it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Pllana, and I'll see you all on the next video.
And I got this soul.